regular interaction with whom we are doing, all faculties in library science profession in IGNOU, like Professor Jaydeep, Professor Archana, and Yinthang, and other experts like Professor Banerjee speaking later on, Dr. Mahesh, and many others, and all my colleagues here and all research scholar participants and faculty members of IGNOU. Now, first of all, a very warm welcome from TERI to all of you. And this webinar, you can say, second in the series. Earlier, we had conducted it, a webinar on how AI can be useful in libraries context. And this is, we felt that there is a need of, telling people, or rather developing a framework, or at least initiate dialogue on developing a framework on how AI is impacting research and academia, and what way we can actually create some ethical practice. And that is why we are trying to, organize this seminar and, trying to make impact of, ethics in ethical use of AI felt. Now, as we all know, that artificial intelligence or AI has already revolutionized the research and academic process, particularly when we teach, the way we learn and we discover and we do our research studies, and we create research papers and everything, whatnot. So there is no such boundaries as such. So considering that, so it gives us enough opportunities to explore further and go beyond what we have learned so far, and that's too in a much quicker way. Now, with such kind of tool in hand, we have to be little bit of show little bit of responsibility. In many cases, we do not, which we do not show, and that's why we many a times we infringe someone's intellectual property. We reduce or restrict our intellectual content upgradation and all those things. Now, if we see that, in these days, in research or academia, we use multiple, AI tools like ChatGPT, Gemini. These are one way. There are, 10 or hundreds of, AI tools available, which researchers are using for either, their research work, or rather their writing work, or conducting their image identification, or maybe conducting the other kind of surveys and analyses and all those things. Now, while that is quicker in the process, but that also give or pose several challenges before us. So some of those challenges require to be dealt at a level where we follow ethical practices, and if necessary, some institutional level or maybe state or national level policy framework is a necessity. Now, considering that, I was just, going through what are the challenging issues AI ethics can, pose to the research and academic community. So one is the intellectual drive. Now, with AI availability, people have maybe, not thinking that much, which they used to, do. So that's how we are restricting our intellectual, drive maybe. Now, if AI gives us a write-up, so we take it without any, second thought. It may be biased. So our opinion become biased. So that could be one thing. Many cases, you are actually uploading your data, so that actually getting stored in the open domain, and that is why it is infringing your privacy or data, privacy, you can say. Accountability, decision, whatever you take based on AI, who is accountable for that? So, several such kind of, transparency, trust, safety, fairness, robustness, governance is another issue. Is there any governing body who will tell us that this is what you can do, or up to this you can use, or these are the best practices you should follow in AI, not go beyond this? Such kind of governance mechanism. So whether we do have that or not. And then definitely, you know if you see the different practical frameworks available, different tools available, with those in hand, student communities are actually, particularly in research area, research scholars and student community, they are using it on a mass scale basis, and the kind of output are coming up, probably they are getting, substandard level at times, or without innovative or thought process coming into being. So if you see that the kind of new innovative research paper which are coming out from China or from US are far higher compared to India. So why is this so? Are we using AI only for writing our research paper? Now there are several such issues are roaming in our mind, and that is why we are organizing this seminar, where our people or the experts, we have couple of panels here, and there we will be learning from experts that how those are to be done. So like responsible use of AI, tackling ethical issues in research. So we have four noted speakers there, as well as in another panel we will be discussing on framework and resolution of ethical AI research. And definitely we'll also learn from, in a keynote address from, Professor Banerjee, as well as Professor Kanjilal, when she will join us and make us, enlighten what way our research community should proceed further in future. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Bhattacharya, for giving a brief yet comprehensive map of what this seminar is to move forward, and also what we expect from this conversation which we're going to have today. Well, as he has mentioned, one of the main objectives of today's hybrid seminar is to understand about AI and the potential of AI in academic and research, and also to identify the potential threats in the usage of AI unethically. And also, next is ethical use of AI, how we can understand in using artificial intelligence ethically. And lastly, but most importantly, a way forward in creating a policy framework to tackle artificial intelligence in an effective way. So these are the objectives of today's seminar. And all our activities, our conversation, discussions are going to be focused on this particular points that has been mentioned. So now, before we go to the next session, excuse me. The next session we are going to have that is more about interaction. Excuse me, I'll just a little bit. Today there's a little bit mistakes here and there, but I think, yeah, that should not create any problem, confusion among us. Well, there is going to be a very important session that is called ice-breaking session. where we will have scholars and students who will be expressing their experiences on the use of AI. And I hope most of you are ready with it. So, are we going to take a break for a deep break or we will continue? Okay. So, I do not have the names who are going to come forward and express their views. So, we will now open this conversation. It is an ice-breaking session, and where students and academician scholars are going to share their views and opinions about AI. So who is going to start? Okay, we have a PhD scholar, Srikant, who would like to share his perspective. And there will be many other people as well. So we'll try to keep it to maximum 5 minutes. 5 minutes each. Yeah, thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone, delegates. I'm Srikant. I'm a research scholar from School of Social Sciences, Library and Information Science. So the usage of AI, as I'm a technical, however, my background is technical, so I'm a little bit aware of this technical terms and things. The usage of AI nowadays, it's being more used. For example, let us take, if we take the name of AI, the first tool comes into everyone's mind is ChatGPT. So everyone thinks that ChatGPT can do wonders. However, it can do wonders, but beyond the wonders also we have to think twice whether it is worth or not. Not only the ChatGPT, there are so many other tools which can be helpful for in the terms of research. For example, if we go for the literature review, there are tools like lit maps. If you talk about lit maps, if you search for your topic, it will give you the relevant articles. So you can go for that. And Research Rabbit. This is also one of the tool. And Zendy AI. So these are the tools which can be used for this literature review. And as well as for paraphrasing. This is the most thing which will be used in the term for research. Paraphrasing. So there is a tool called Quillbot, which can paraphrase the text which you enter. And Grammarly. And so on. Because if I take the list, it will never end, because this AI is it in the still it is in the developing stage. So every day the new tools are evolving. And whereas coming for the plagiarism check, still there is an option of plagiarism check, because if we write research paper, then the final stage is to check the plagiarism content, how much everything is there. So the Turnitin and all these softwares are paid versions. So if we go for the free versions, we have CopyLeaks. CopyLeaks is an AI tool which can be used for plagiarism check, and Zero GPT. These all are the tools. And moreover, when we are going for the literature review, we have to read the full papers. And to read the papers also, there are tools. Unriddle. Unriddle AI is a tool which can be used to read the research papers. If you upload your paper and if you start asking, like example, what are the methodologies we use? You have to search for what is the methodology used in this paper. It will give the answer. And who are the participants? It will give the answer. And what is the conclusion? And what are the next step for the research? So these all things you will get in this tools. And I have been maintaining a blog which can be used for other research purpose scholars also. That is My Library Kingdom, whereas I have given that. And all this can be utilized in a proper way. Last thing I want to say is never completely depend upon the AI tool as it is in developing stage, because there are no any policy frameworks as it is not finalized as a developed. So I want everyone, even as well as me, I do cross check with whatever content I get from the AI tool, as I don't depend completely on that. So cross checking is compulsory and mandatory, because it is a database. That's it. It doesn't create anything new. It just retrieves the data whichever it is stored in the databases. That's all I can guess. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Sri Khan, for sharing your perspective. Now we have Sanmadi who is coming online. I would like to request those of you who are going to share your perspective to share how you are using, focusing on that, basically, how you are using AI. You don't have to go into much detail, but how you are using AI. Yeah, so we will go with Sanmadi, PhD scholar from School of Social Sciences. Are you online? Is he there? Okay, now we give time to Sanmadi. Please take your time. Okay. Would like to apologize very sincerely to all of you. We usually don't do it in this way, but unfortunately, because of some issue with the license, we are unfortunately have to face this. So this will not happen in future. So please kindly excuse us. Since Sanmari is not coming online, I would like to request one of the students to kindly come forward and share your experience of using AI. Come forward here. You can introduce your name, okay?
Good afternoon, everyone. First of all, I would like to thanks to all for giving me this opportunity myself on using AI in my academic life. My name is Shakil Ahmed from Jamia Millia Islamia. I am a student of Bachelor of Dental Surgery, BDS third year student. AI help us in many ways. To take help in my study, I use Gemini. Gemini not only provide information, but also use stories and examples to make it memorable. This makes learning fun. Also, it can ask me question directly. And also Gemini able to do conversation to any topic. This make an interactive way to learning. Gemini is like a study buddy. Doctors should not see AI as a magical replacement for their own expertise. It is a more likely a powerful tool that can help them to make better decisions. Recently, AI used in dentistry by many ways. Vida Health AI platform. An AI platform analyzes dental radiograph, CT scan, and other image to detect anomalies like cavities, tumor, and periodontal disease with greater accuracy and speed than the human eyes. Automatic tasks. AI can automate time-consuming tasks like scheduling, appointments, management patient record, and generate report. Free up dentists to focus on the patient care. Pulse platform in Vedi Health, an AI powerful toothbrush that provide personalized feedback on brushing technique. And I am also write a research paper, the efficiency of artificial intelligence based virtual assistant in responding to the routinely asked questions about cleft lip and palate under the guidance of Professor Dr. Tabassum Ma'am, Departments of Orthodontics in Faculty of Dentistry, Jamia Millia Islamia. Thank you for the evening. Thank you.
Thank you, Shakil Ahmad, for sharing your perspective. We will give a chance to Sanmadi. If he's online, please come forward and share your perspective. Is it?
Hello, sir.
Okay. Yeah, you may continue.
Yes, sir.
Please
Am I audible?
introduce yourself.
Yes, sir. Good afternoon to all. Sincere apologies for the inconvenience for my due to technical issues. I'm Sanmati Jain, working in IIT Goa. I'm also a research scholar in IGNOU. I would like to share my experiences of using AI, especially in our like when we were as a library professional, like when we check for similarity check in our library areas. Like we identify that the research scholars, they use AI in their research work, and it is not detectable through Turnitin. Like Turnitin, they have an additional plugin called for AI to detect AI generated content. And if we use those, by using the Turnitin AI, we are able to find that students have used the use of generative AI like ChatGPT or Gemini or Bard in their research work, especially in literature review, in the parts like conclusion, where this automatic words like there are some words which only this generative AI suggests, like undermine, DELV, delve. There are some words which only ChatGPT generates, and through which we are able to identify this, through such sentences, that how this ChatGPT is being used unethically by the scholars. And now recently, APA, Chicago, they have all initiated this use of citation, like even this. Like if you are using ChatGPT, it can be even cited. So they have given the citation formats of this citing these AI tools. But what I understood from my experience is that you have to disclose the use of AI, which is more important. Like many journals, like Science or Nature or PLOS, they have all mentioned in their journal policies that the author should mention the use of AI, like what tools they have used, what prompt they have used, and what the output of that prompt. So whatever prompt they have used and the output of the prompt, and where they have used, in which section, like for methodology or introduction or literature review, where they have used exactly. So the journals are emphasizing that, and if the author is transparent about it, and if he or she is mentioning those things in the acknowledgement section or in the appendix, on where he has used those AI, this AI generated text, and I think it is ethical in my view. So, like especially in Indian environment, since we don't have any policies, so if we have any guidelines like regarding like in thesis writing or research papers, like how we can use AI ethically, it will be very a very important one. Which is what I wanted. Thank you. Thanks for giving me the opportunity.
Thank you, Sanmati, for sharing your perspective. Actually, the main purpose of having this ice-breaking session is to observe, because there are many people who are using different AI tools, but whatever they are using, they might not be aware that they are using it unethically. So it was a surprise, kind of, we invited few people to come and share your perspective without telling the very purpose of what we are, or what do we intend to observe. So basically, that is the main purpose. Yes, thank you to all the three members who took out time to share your perspective on the use of AI. We will, as we have the refreshment, we will go to the next session. That is a panel discussion on the topic, Responsible Artificial Intelligence, Galon, tackling ethical issues in research. We have excellent experts lined up. But before we go and before we move forward, let me give a brief introduction about the resource persons who will be participating in this panel discussion. I will try my level best to be brief. And this session will be moderated by Unsung Kim, Program Specialist and Head of Social and Human Resources in UNESCO, South Asian Regional Office in New Delhi. And she oversees projects across 6 South Asian countries. I will keep it this much in order to save time. And we have...
I don't know what.
Can you...
And suddenly, like, I don't know.
Okay, I think that should not affect me. Well, we have 5 speakers, and each one of them will be taking 10 minutes each, maximum 10 minutes each. And as I have mentioned about the theme, let me not repeat. We'll start with, okay, let me first introduce the, well, no. Let me first give a brief introduction about the speakers today. We have Dr. Rita Sharma. She is an experienced professional in knowledge management research, specializing in the development and implementation of knowledge management practices and capacity building entrepreneurship programs at TERI and for external clients. And she's an expert in creating domain ontologies, taxonomies, knowledge management systems, digital libraries, knowledge management products, and evidence-based synthesis reports. Shall we request her to kindly stand up wherever you are? Dr. Rita Sharma. And may I request one of our PhD scholars, Swarup, to kindly hand over Dr. Rita a memento from, yeah, you may please sit there. Yeah. You may remain standing. We have another very distinguished scholar, Professor G. Mahesh. He is a chief scientist and head of science communication and dissemination, and also head of the Director General's Executive Directorate at CSIR headquarters. Previously, he was head Research Journals Division at CSIR, National Institute of Science, Communication and Policy Research. May I request Professor Mahesh to stand up wherever you are, and may I request one of our PhD scholars to please hand over the memento to Professor G. Mahesh. Let's all give him a big round of applause. We have the third speaker, that is Dr. Bhaskar Mukherjee, another very established scholar and academician from the Department of Library and Information Science. Dr. Bhaskar Mukherjee is a professor at the Department of Library and Information Science, Banaras Hindu University, Varanasi. With over 20 years of academic experience, he has made significant contributions to the field of webometrics, digital libraries, information technology, application in libraries, and knowledge organizations. And he has also developed and designed several educational projects, including the content for SAARC, SARC Documentation Center, New Delhi, and website on Madam Mohan Malavia with the Ministry of Culture, Government of India. And Dr. Mukherjee is also a recipient of multiple awards, including Raja Mohan Roy Library. He is coming online. However, I think we must give him a big round of applause. Yeah. And then we have Dr. Ujjal Marjit. Even he will be coming online. And a very distinguished academician. And well, Dr. Ujjal Marjit leads the Center of Information Resource Management of the University of Kalyani, India. He is also visiting researcher at the Norwegian University of Science Technology, Norway. And Dr. Marjit was a member of the Association for Computing Machinery, USA. He has also co-authored several books, chapters, and over 70 research publications. And Dr. Marjit attended several conferences and in different parts of the world. Let's all give him a big round of applause. Yeah, so thankfully, 2 of the speakers are out of the 4. 2 of the speakers are in our midst here, attending live, and 2 are online. It's not that we expect it online may have create some problem, but I think we will request the moderator to maybe start with the 2 resource persons who are online. And now we request the moderator, Kim, to kindly proceed with the session. And let's all give her a big round of applause. Yeah, you may please take your time. Thank you.
Thank you everyone for taking the time to be here on this very timely event, I would say, on AI ethics. And thank you, Professor Suhas. Thank you, Dr. Bhattacharya, for inviting UNESCO and putting out a hand for us to co-organize this event. I think the ethical challenges of AI in academy is a very interesting and topical issue, especially with the rise of LLMs and also a lot of difficult situations where we're facing with transparency, with verification. I think this panel in particular will explore the ethical challenges of integrating AI into academic research and education, and we'll try to explore key topics, including algorithmic bias, data privacy, transparency issues, and their impact on academic integrity and equity. Before we start, I would just like to introduce the UNESCO recommendation on the ethics of artificial intelligence. Not sure if everybody has come across it, but it is the foundational document for not only UNESCO, but of all our member states, 194 of them have signed up and agreed to this global normative instrument, which basically outlines the fundamental values and principles that should guide the development, design, and deployment of AI technologies. Now, this is not specifically pertaining to one field. It doesn't directly talk about academia per se, but the principles and values is definitely something that maybe we can draw upon and reflect on when we create a framework for AI in academia. And there's 4 values, 9 principles. I suggest you go through the document. Everything's available online. But at the core of the recommendation, it's to ensure that human rights, human dignity, and fundamental freedom is ensured in all of the technologies that we use in terms of AI. So with that, maybe we can dive a little bit deeper into the context of how it affects academic integrity. I think the previous speakers did already mention things like transparency, fairness, and explainability, which is not just in AI technologies, but also very much relevant to the world of academia. So as suggested by the Master of Ceremony, maybe I'll ask the panelists who are connecting online the question first. I'll take this question to maybe Dr. Ujjal Marjit, but just to make it a little bit more flowing conversation rather than a panel, I'll direct one question to each of the panelists, but feel free, maybe the other panelists also, to come in and share some of your reflections or key points if you wish to. So this this question I would like to direct to Dr. Ujjal Marjit. First of all, how do you think institutions can better prepare students and researchers to handle ethical dilemmas in AI research? I'm not sure if you can hear me, but hopefully you have heard the question. I can repeat it if you want.
Yes, ma'am.
Did you hear the question?
Yeah.
Over to you, Professor.
So repeat again the question, ma'am.
Oh, okay. How can institutions better prepare students and its researchers to handle ethical dilemmas in AI research?
So at the very outset, I would like to thank the organizer for giving me to say something. So before we say something, because the responsible use of AI in research is one of the most important things. So at present, we are using various type of tools for literature review, academic writing, and AI directions, and etc. So institutional role means that the transparency is one of the most important things, because you clearly disclose how AI tools are used in research workflows. And besides, you also provide full explanations of AI generated outputs, so ensuring they can be interpreted and validated. Okay, and bias mitigations. So if I say the AI tools of literature review offer promise of faster and more comprehensive searches. So when you develop the tool or models or something like that, so institutions have to provide the exact data. So in order to mitigate the biasness, you should provide the diverse representative data sets to train the models when you develop the AI model. That is one of the most important things. And in addition to that, the organizations have to regularly audit algorithms to identify and correct any biases that could affect the research outcomes. So, and besides, human oversight and accountability is one of the most important things. If you ensure that the researchers remain ultimately responsible for interpreting AI generated results. So ethical standards, institutions have to maintain the ethical standards and guidelines, because that we don't have any AI policy now to generate to use the generative AI to content and to generate the content. So that is why you have to adhere to institutional and regularity standards for the ethical use of AI in academic research. And not only that, moreover, you should develop and follow clear guidelines on acceptable AI applications and disclosures. Because when you define the explainable AI, means you have to evaluate the things. The algorithm biasness is fully free and algorithm is fully unbiased. Then you can ensure the research remain ultimately responsible for interpreting the AI generated results. And if you totally copy the entire thing that is generated by the AI related tools, so that is very much problematic, because you have to follow the hallucinations. Whatever hallucinations the tool has produced in against your tool. And in addition, inclusivity and fairness. So if you use AI to amplify diverse perspective and promote equity in research outcomes. So that is why the continuous monitoring and improvement is necessary. So you regularly review the performance and impact of AI tools in research. So stay informed about advances in AI ethics. As you know, in a day or two, the OpenAI will launch the new O3 algorithms, and you will come to know that they have already added the human volumes. They have already added some ethics to this tool, and that is the latest version of the ChatGPT. And in a day or two, you can access through the ChatGPT subscription version. So it's a very nice news. So you continuous monitoring and improvement is one of the main things. And in our country, so that is the educational initiatives. So you should train the researchers and students in responsible AI uses and its ethical implications. So provide resources, workshops on best practices for integrating AI into research. So if you think, suppose you are going to do the literature review, so how can we maintain the navigating bias and equity? So in order to maintain the bias and equity in literature review, the main challenge is the many AI-powered search tools favor well-cited papers from established journals. But this can marginalize emerging voices, research from smaller institutions or work in underrepresented fields. So this is the example. What is example? Example here, suppose a researcher or institutional body in developing country might find their work consistently overlooked because AI system prioritize publications from the high impact journals. So what we can do? Train AI models on diverse data sets that include wide range of journals, languages, and disciplines. In brief, we can say if you want to develop the large language model against your content, so you have to have insert all those things that are presently exist in your institution. Suppose you want to make a large language model, then you cover all those things, that is fully unbiased things. And when you follow the historical data, then you have to keep in mind that that data should be unbiased. That is the main important thing. So what we can do? We can conduct periodic audits to ensure these tools do not reinforce existing inequities. And you can also encourage publishers and platforms developers to increase the visibility of underrepresented research. So by following these principles, researchers can ensure that AI is used responsibly and maintaining the integrity and fairness and transparency of their work. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. I think you mentioned some very critical points, such as the representation of data and how we need to make sure that the data that we use to train AI systems are truly representative to ensure that we have AI technologies that are inclusive and responding to everyone's needs. I also liked your point about the private sector and about the new upcoming upgrades from OpenAI and how they're trying to include some ethical dimensions. But I think when it comes to private sector and self-regulation, the role of academia, such as people, all of you here, the role of the public, of civil society organizations are actually very, very crucial in making sure that the self-regulation that private sector commits to and that they're held accountable for. Because if we don't play that role, the private sector can easily make such claims and never live up to the ethical principles that they so-called say they're incorporating into their technologies. So thank you for that point. Maybe we'll mix it around a little bit just to make it a little bit more diverse. I'll ask someone maybe in the room the next question. Dr. Rita Sharma, if I can go to you for the next question. She's joining us. Okay. Sure. So the gentle Dr. Mukherjee, maybe you're connecting online if you can hear me. I'd like to ask you the question, which is quite, I would say, a difficult one. What are the most pressing ethical issues in AI research today, and how can the academic community address them? I'll hand it over to you for your response, sir.
Okay, very thank you to all of you for giving me chance. Basically, I am from Banaras. Kindly allow me to share my screens. I am sharing my screens. Is it visible to all of you? Now someone mic is repeating. Someone audio is probably off. That's why it's repeating. Okay. Hopefully now it will be works. So basically, I would like to talk on AI in academic research, why to be responsible. Because as a person from academia, I particularly observed or believe that we cannot say AI is not a tool for use. AI must not be used by academia or academic community, but there is something to be followed, observed, or to be maintained in better way. And whatsoever I am trying to talk is based on my experience and then some live activities that I will try to show you over here. First is all we are talking about ChatGPT. It's really a wandering tool of the world, and he's talking about 3.0. Now it's showing on the live website, it's 4.0 mini ChatGPT. So question is that ChatGPT is an excellent site for giving me or allowing me the literature to show. But when I talk about a few discussion that has been available on the web on ChatGPT and the copyright, then such type of information is coming on that does ChatGPT violates the copyright and it is being sued by New York Times. If you see these two company, New York Times and this Asian News Network International, they sued a case against ChatGPT and Microsoft, showing or claiming that whatsoever the content this GPT services is now providing, they are taking it the copyrighted text of these two news services. These are two news. I am not talking by my own, but these are two news. If you see in live, it says like that. So now question comes to me, if something is already in copyrighted form and ChatGPT is just replicate it and produce it in a different way, then how far it will be reliable tool for us? This is one of the biggest question for me. And then there is another very important side that I will try to show to all of you. And that is the site basically related to, let me little bit cut it short, ChatGPT and all. What it is, this one is, okay. So if you see this, ChatGPT and all, everything is there. Now, there is another very common site that we are talking about, and that is called very popularly and well known, and that is called Canva. Basically, it is very popular that human is very excellent for artistic and excellent content that human can prepare by themselves. If you open a Canva and ask to generate an image, this image Canva usually creates within a fraction of a second. But whenever this image you have to upload it, it's simple in any site like Google Lens, then you will find there are a number of similar images based on which Canva has created these images. On looking into the site of Canva, you will find Canva cannot guarantee that 3 images are properly licensed for commercial use or even indirect benefit. Users should be aware the images available online may be protected by copyright law. Images is already protected by copyright law, and a user are using this this image services for creating any artistic or scientific image for his research or academic purposes. And if he is claimed that it is original research for which he transferred the copyright to university, a big question comes to me whether he or she really have the copyright of that images. Although he is claiming that it is an image created by him and it is created by some AI tool, but AI tool basically creates the images based on the data existing into their databases. If the databases is not biased, if the databases is not exhaustive, if the databases is not qualitative, if the databases is only a single pattern, as Majid is also talking of historical data. Now, question is here, very important thing is pattern and neural network by which we are training this 80 and 20% data set. For me, on my experience, what I learned is that if we talk about training data and train a machine in such a way that it will able to understand what we actually test, then it is good. But number of cases I particularly observed while working on this training process, machine usually not able to train it very efficiently because of so many reasons. Complexity of data set, incompleteness of data set, impure data set, so many reasons are there. The data on which an institution will be built on AI techniques or and all, if the data set is defective, it will be dangerous to all of us. Very third thing, while doing my research, some few months back, I have conducted a research about use of AI in academia with taking the students of BHU, and I found that most of the students are preferred to use writing review of literature, they are basically use the AI tool. There are so many good tools. One of the students have make up LitMap. My dear students, LitMap is not a AI tool. It's a reference management tool for connecting one paper to another. Technology is something different. But the tool of AI is Perplexity, Research Buddy, like that, and Cite, SCIT, Cite. I'm just showing you live some example of Cite. I am writing a paper, and if I write something on Indian knowledge system, if I cite it Research Buddy, it gives me a very good piece of literature on research on Indian knowledge system. Okay? But if you see this references, it is showing that this piece of literature is based on these references. And if you cross-check these references simply in Google, putting it into Google, and you will find there is no as such references exist at all. My dear research scholar, in this point, you have to be very much careful of using chat GPT based references for writing your review. In most of the cases, I particularly observe these references are actually not existing. And if you see the result, it says this is generative AI and can be prone to hallucination. Therefore, some of the papers reference in your review may not exist. There is a huge tendency of paper retraction or desk rejection. Dr. Mahesh is very well accustomed with all these terms. The problem is that why, number of times I have heard this, why it is desk rejected. The basic question is that if the references we have created is totally incorrect, and if it is not at all existed, no international journal will able to move forward to accept it. In fact, the very popular this word ChatGPT, Indian knowledge system with references, if I search, and you will get a number of piece of literature, and if you see these references, what they are claiming it, you cannot use it. Why? Because these references are particularly and very oftenly is a non-scholarly or semi-scholarly sources. International journal with these references, if you search these references, again you will encounter the hallucination. So it is one of the major problem in case of AI while we are using in this. Now, very interesting and very useful tool for me is Julius, AI for data analysis. You know, I have tried because as he was talking about webometrics and it's an analysis tool. And when I was using Julius, I particularly wondered that after uploading a file in Julius, you will get easily the trend of literature. If your literature is 10,000 and 20,000, it automatically give you a trend. You doesn't. In Julius, you will find about the paper, what actually the whole file belongs to and which it means to. But while I was trying to excavate it for making some correlation, or you can say regression analysis between citation and impact factor, it wrongly shows me a data between regression or distribution of graphs, or you can say this is called stack graphs by using citation and publication here. My question is, if you blindly believe on AI, then there will be a big trouble. And this trouble basically comes, usually we prefer to use the free software that are available in market for various reasons. Now, say for example, if ChatGPT is created a text over here, and same type of text, if I put into some plagiarism detected on this part, it simply says the percentage of fake and percentage of PA will be say almost 99%. After a minute, you will see this will show you the 86% of almost equal amount of 86% of similarity it is showing. My question is that 80% of it is only a free tool and it says 87% is a fake. So if we are thinking of that today we can prepare our research paper by using AI tool, because today there is a concept in market and that is called paper mills research. That means ready-made research are available and you can purchase the paper by paying the money. Now, paper mill research, which is a new phenomenon in recent science, leads to more retraction. One should understand that not necessarily an accepted paper, which is accepted in recently, never be withdraw or retracted in near future. Because of this technology, so many tools are so much has already evolved. If you see this graph is showing that the paper which is published in 1990s has been retracted in 2022. So retraction is a process which is evolved by technology as well as this AI and all. But one should be very careful on using this retraction and all. My dear friend, therefore, I used to suggest to my scholar to go through the International Center for Academic Integrity, what they suggest, and the COPE guideline, which basically need to be followed while writing a research paper and all. This green line is what International Center for Academic Integrity says. That is, you have to be honest, put trust, fairness, respect, responsibility, and courage. What particularly COPE guidelines talks on that? Authors who uses AI tool in writing the manuscript, production of image or graphical element of a paper, or in collection and analysis of data must be transparent in disclosing in their material and method of the paper, how AI tool was used and which tool was used. That courage, or you can say responsibility, one have to be taken. Researcher must understand misuse of AI-generated statistical model without understanding of data characteristics leading incorrect predictions. So, as I am saying, ki Julius is using, but you have to be understand what extent of data Julius is showing and whether this data have authenticity to use or not. Authors should avoid automatically generated literature review because of various reasons, as I have already told you. And very importantly, data provenances means without knowing the origin of the data, only saying that I have been getting or it is being tested or trained by some AI tool, I think still it is not in a beta stage. Still now, we are not in beta stage. And my suggestion, as a form of suggestion, we have usually practiced to use the free tools on the web. Do not enter the confidential information or data into this third-party AI tool because whatsoever they are giving as a free, basically by inputting, by they are trying to gather the data from you, and on the basis of that, they are trying to develop a pattern. In AI, most important is to know the query pattern, and accordingly, the neural network, or you can say the other network, deep learning can be possible in better way, as Professor Majid was talking about. So, by if a researcher is always excavating AI for doing research and putting their important data into third-party softwares, it may be a troublesome things. AI to be therefore, AI do not enter your confidential data as any infringement may expose the university and the community member for the potential commercial threat. My last word is that certainly you must use AI for summarization, similarity checking, paraphrasing, presentation. Very good presentation tool is there. Yes, for novice people, data analysis, and certainly identifying the similarity of an image by using AI-enabled OCR software. But still, AI is very lucid in using qualitative content preparation. And most of the cases, it is a price-based. If you can purchase, then it has good one, until unless it is not so available one. This is all about my presentation from my side, and over to you.
Thank you, Dr. Mukherjee. Pause for the very informative presentation. I hear that we have another presentation waiting for us by Dr. Dr. Vitra Sharma. Maybe I'll hand it over to you to go through your presentation.
A very good afternoon to all of you. So I got the message from Professor Jaideep sir that I have to be very crisp because the panelist too and our keynote speaker is waiting in the lobby. So most of the things I have already covered, that how the AI has influences in our life. There is of course, the pros and cons of the AI. But I will show you how these chat GPT, the various AI tools which we are using for our research paper writings or some project writing, how they are, restricting our creativity. Of course, we can use these tools to write the papers, but we have to check what we are taking, what kind of prompt we have to give before taking any kind of text from the chat GPT and other tools. So I will show you one example that how much, the paper published in Google Scholars. And they are also published in very high cited journals like IEEE, Springer, Science Direct. They are using ChatGPT prompt. And the paper might have gone through the editing process, but the author, editor, and the people who are involved in the peer review process may not check that. So we know what is responsible AI, some kind of guideline, regulation rules need to be employed while developing, designing the AI, so that we can make the human life safe. And these are basically the advantage of AI expediting. Of course, the AI can analyze large data sets, which are very useful in our research. Even in TERI also, we are using this supercomputer basically to analyze this climate related and to basically to know the pattern of the past year climate, or basically the rain data or any kind of data. And we can also do the future, prediction based on that data. Literature review, then improving the quality of writing and the detection of plagiarism. So these are some of the advantages which most of the speakers have already covered. And yes, of course, these are some of the AI tools which we can use while writing our paper. So some of the tools are free, like Jotaro as site, but others we have to purchase, or there is some limitations. Yes, so I will skip this slide. I will directly go yes. So yesterday I was giving this prompt in the Google Scholar. So this is basically the most used, the language which is generated by the chat GPT as an AI language model. Or I cannot go, or I cannot suggest you further behind this. So when I put this prompt and minus the chat GPT, so that it will not take the chat GPT things. So I find a large number of papers basically use this prompt. So I mentioned that there are so many papers. You can see that there are papers from the ArcSI, from the paper dot. But in this list, there are papers from Finger, Science Direct also. These are the reputed, publishers, and they are high-cited, high-impact factor journals, having impact factor 8 or 10. The author used such kind of, made such kind of mistakes. So while writing the paper or any kind of research report, we have to see what we are writing, what type of text we are copying. We should not take as it is whatever is generated by ChatGPT, Google Gemini, or we can say Pharynx.ai, and there are so many other tools. If you go to the internet, you will find n number of tools. But what tool is giving the best result? First, we have to compare them. We should know what kind of prompt we have to give in that software so that the exact result will be generated. So it's not that we have a tool and we blindly apply our queries into this and we generate some kind of result. We have to analyze from where it is taking the references from the site, the references being cited is correct or not. So for that, another examples are like that. So in Hindu, it was published that out of 200 million papers reviewed, over 6 million have at least 80% AI writing. So this is published in one of the reports. And in one of the report published by this University College London Library, that AI tools such as ChatGPT were likely used to assist with a significant number of research papers published in 2030 without mostly proper disclosure. One more thing, if you are taking something from the ChatGPT, rewriting, and there are also some software like AI bypasser, you can use that software. And plus, you also give references that you have taken this text from the ChatGPT, and you should know to what extent we can take from the ChatGPT. I think it's 10 to 20% we can take from the ChatGPT. So, academic literature, the key AI ethical challenges are basically the spread of false information. As we know that ChatGPT usually sometimes provides the false information, false references, false citation, even the sometimes it also spread the like propaganda kind of things, responsibility and accountability. So it is the responsibility of both researchers and the institute who is publishing any kind of report or paper, the dissemination of bias and discrimination. We know that most of these software are developed by the Western world. So most of the information is basically biased towards that side. And ChatGPT and other softwares work on the pre-existing data. What is data is fed and on which data the software is trained, it basically generates that kind of result. Then transparency, of course, if we are putting some kind of data or we are generating or analyzing some kind of data set, we should take the permission the whose data we are taking. Then privacy violation and data security, these are the biggest issue when we are using these AI tools. So how these are some of the basically preventing the misuse of AI in education. We should take the oral presentation from the researchers, how much they know about their topic, project-based learning assessment, then of course the presence detection software normally and the external. So we can use that. And also the researcher should have the knowledge of such kind of tool that there are plagiarism detection software and their plagiarism can be detected with the help of these softwares. So these are the future direction. We should have rigorous data governance, developing advanced detection tools, which can like Turnitin, which can further detect how much plagiarism is there, how, plus it should also give some, suggest users how they can avoid such kind of plagiarism. If we are taking some kind of, photo or images from the net or from the ChatGPT, there should be a digital watermarking. Of course, the transparency and open sciences, whatever research we are doing, it should be published in open domain. Research article or report should go through the peer review process. Of course, ethical guidelines should be drafted. Currently, these are oversighted, and there is the education and awareness. The teachers, the educators, the students need to be aware. Proper training should be conducted to use or how to give the prompt in ChatGPT or any kind of AI tools which are available in the over the internet. And besides that, the government should draft some kind of guidelines and policies to stop such kind of, plagiarizing work. So I would like to thank all of you for giving me the chance. Yes, if you have any questions, you can ask to the next panelist.
Thank you for that brief presentation. And maybe last but not least, I'll hand it over to Dr. G. Mahesh, who's waited all this time for his intervention at today's panel. Over to you, sir.
Yeah, thank you. I'll be very brief because I can see an anxious Professor Jaideep Sharma going around because we are running, our schedule is kind of delayed. So I don't have a presentation, but I thought I will just respond to your first question. You had asked, when students are faced with an ethical dilemma, what can institutions do? Probably I'll take that question. So I belong to CSIR because there are some students here. I would like to quickly introduce what CSIR is. So CSIR is a old organization, 80-plus-year-old organization, and we have there's a council. You must have heard about the Indian Council of Medical Research, Agricultural Research. Likewise, the Council of Scientific and Industrial Research has about 37 laboratories. We have close to
Excuse
4,000
me,
scientists.
Professor G. Mahesh,
Yeah.
shall I request you to come over here so that we will be more audible?
I'll be very quick. I
Yeah.
think I'm audible. No.
Not very, I think it'll, if you don't mind.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And we also would like to see you on the stage here.
Yeah, thank you. And then, yeah. So to continue with what I was saying, so 37 laboratories, close to 3,500, thank you, scientists and several hundreds of students. So the question that was asked, if you recall, was that what can be done by institutions when students or say researchers face ethical dilemma. So it is safe to assume that a researcher, a student, would face a ethical dilemma at some point in time during their research. So in CSIR, in the recent years, we have set up something called a standing ethics committee in the last 4 years, and every institution in CSIR has an ethics officer, and at the CSIR headquarters also we have a standing ethics committee and an ethics officer, and I happen to be the ethics officer of the CSIR headquarters. And so we are trying to put in mechanisms in place when there are ethical issues. These can be addressed by the standing ethics committee. And also we have periodic sensitization programs. So we bring in experts from across the country, and we talk to the researchers and scientists, because publishing something like 5,500 papers in a year, and also bringing out close to 15 to 20 impact factor good journals, one way or the other, ethical issues do surface. So sensitization is one thing. If there are issues, it can be addressed to this committee. And like other institutions, we do have our own technological tools, I should say, to like plagiarism and all that to take care. But it's more about keeping the conversation going. And with the advent of AI, we know that it's going to be an integral part of the research process. It's going to cut both ways. So it's about, I would say, keeping the conversation going such as this. Thank you.
I think that brings us to the end of the panel discussion. Please join me in giving a round of applause to all of the panelists. And then I'll hand it over to the Master of Ceremony for the next keynote speech. Thank you.
Thank you, Kim, for effectively moderating the session. And on behalf of IGNOU, UNESCO and TERI would like to express our gratitude and thanks to all the resource persons for coming forward and sharing your perspectives on the given theme. Let us all give them another big round of applause. We will now have another very established scholar, and we have a keynote address on the theme, Artificial Intelligence, Ethics in Academia, Responsibility in the Age of Disruption. And the keynote will be addressed by Professor Subhashis Banerjee. He's presently head of the Department of Computer Science, Ashoka University. Earlier, he was with IIT Delhi. His research interests are computer vision, machine learning, geometric algorithm, and he has been on the editorial board of various journals, and he has been an academic visitor to several universities across India and across the globe. He will be delivering the keynote address online, and so we will give the time to him, but let us give him a big round of applause and welcome him. Professor Subhashis Banerjee. Can you write the name first? Subha. Huh? I don't know which ID he's. Oh, he's not there. Okay. So what shall, okay. Shall we go to the next session? Yeah, just. Okay, you want to take more time? Okay, so in that case, what we will do is, just hold on. Today things are a little messed up, but I hope we will be forgiven for this. Just hold on. My phone is not supporting me. My only question is, if it takes time now, will there be any kind of confusion in the next session, for the next session? Okay. Yeah, I know you are there. Yeah, I know. That's why I was just thinking whether we will just proceed in the next. No, that's fine. He will do it. But we need to. I was just thinking, since the keynote address is not coming online, we will proceed to the final session. Okay, no problem. So let me give a brief introduction about Dr. Subramaniam. He is professor in School of Computer Division. Yes, Computer Information Science. And he was, of course, the former director of the school and also the former director of COE, that is Center for Online Education. And he has published 2 patents. And in 2018, he was awarded IRDB Award for Teaching and Research Excellence. Let us all give him a big round of applause. And I also request one of the PhD scholars to kindly come forward and present him with a memento. Come this side.
Good afternoon, everyone. So I'll be talking and I'll be sticking on to my particular topic, that is frameworks and resolutions for ethical AI research. So I had divided this particular session into core ethical principles for research in AI, frameworks for conducting ethical AI research, resolutions for ethical AI research, policy guidelines, implementation measures. So this particular session covers what, why, for whom, and then how to proceed. So all these things will be covered. I'll be covering it within 10 to 15 minutes. So let us see what core ethical principles are there set for AI. So first of all, these are some of the things which already my fellow speakers has spoken about. First one is accountability and responsibility. So all the researchers and academia most probably should keep in mind the accountability, the responsibility. That is the first ethical principle whenever we are meticulously using the AI. Second one is the transparency and explainability. So here, all research processes, methodologies, and outcomes should be accessible and comprehensible. So that is the main thing that we have to take care. In most of the universities, as you can see, in computer science department, IT, as well as in multidisciplinary research, most of the people, they are using many AI and ML techniques. So when it comes to AI, we talk about the deep learning, machine learning, and other kinds of techniques, wherein which most of the people they are using. So we should be very much careful whenever we are selecting the data sets also. So one thing is fairness and inclusivity. So whenever we talk about the AI, there may be the biasness, and then we have to ensure that diverse and representative training data needs to be provided. Suppose if you are doing a kind of research wherein which you are collecting the worldwide data, and most of the data pertains to like the Western countries only, then there may be a chance of biasness whenever you are training the model. So whenever it comes, it gives the outcome or the results. However, it may show the biasness and it may give the incorrect information also. So we should be very much careful whenever we are selecting the data set. Incorporate the inclusive practices to account for the needs of underrepresented or vulnerable populations. This also needs to be taken care whenever you are involved in doing the research. Then it should be human-centric approach. Design the systems to augment human capabilities, but AI should not override us. So use the tools to enhance or else to use for the like a kind of a good production kind of productive kind of things. Otherwise, it may overtake or override also. So ensure meaningful over human side and control throughout the life cycle of the AI systems. So once you are into the AI research, once again, I'll present it in the another slide. The next thing is privacy and data ethics. So this particular, we should ensure the complaints, data privacy regulations, and then protect user data. So these things you have to take care whenever you are selecting the data sets. There are ample number of data sets right from space research till medical. Most of the people, they are nowadays into the medical domain. So even though we are doing research in our case, in the School of Computer Information Sciences, our scholars has done research on type 2 diabetes. So once again, which is a interdisciplinary kind of thing. And then they have to have the domain knowledge. And once again, whatever the data they had collected from direct data, their direct inputs from the patients, or else the data sets that are there on Kaggle and other kinds of websites, those must be carefully selected, and under all the data privacy regulations, the data needs to be governed. And then limit the use of very much sensitive data. Don't disclose the data of the patients or anybody else. It is very sensitive, so data should not be leaked out. Our data should not be fed into the, as one of our speakers has told, data should not be fed as a document on which you may be doing it a kind of conclusions or analysis. Don't give input as the complete data report as the input, which may be trained and wherein which the data might have leaked. So there is a possibility. So don't feed the data kinds, the Excel sheets and other kinds of things without knowing how far it will take. Then sustainability. Promote environmentally sustainable AI practices by minimizing energy and resource consumption. As you can see, many of the LLM models, the ChatGPT, Gemini, and other kinds of things, these particular machines are running and it is consuming one or many cities' electricity, equivalent to one or many cities' electricity. They are run on supercomputers. So they are funded by Microsoft-like companies, wherein which these large language models are run on supercomputers consuming much of the electricity. So whenever you are just placing a query, it may be a query or it may be a kind of prompt from your side. However, it is consuming a lot of energy on the other side. So these particular things are running on heavy machines or else the supercomputers. And then sustainability, conduct life cycle assessments to evaluate the ecological impact of the AI systems. These two parts, the sustainability part is very much sensitive, which each and every researcher has to take care. So these are the ethical principles. Let us see the framework for conducting ethical AI research. So whenever you are using the AI models, so whenever you are using or else taking the help of the AI in doing your research, what should be the framework? So right from the design till the outcomes, analysis and outcomes, one should be careful taking into considerations into many aspects. So each and every time we have to see whether we are considering all these bulleted points or not. So when it comes to the research design the purpose of AI research with the clear alignment with the ethical objectives. Already we had seen the ethical objectives in our previous slides. So all those things needs to be taken care, like the accountability, fairness, everything needs to be taken care right from the design part onwards. Identify potential risks and society implications of the proposed AI system. So this is main thing that one has to, whenever we are doing the social sciences research using AI or something like that, or else the medical research, once again, we have to see how far the risks are there and how to mitigate them. That also, the risk management also needs to be taken care whenever we are using the AI. So develop and follow an ethical impact assessment template during the design phase. So these three things needs to be taken care at the research design stage when it comes to the use of AI. Then comes the data governance. So use ethical data collection practices and avoid exploiting vulnerable groups. So this needs to be taken care. Implement data auditing mechanisms to ensure data integrity and fairness. Publish details about data sources, pre-processing. So once we take the data, we always do the pre-processing kind of thing. We have to publish all those particular details, and bias is for transparency. Even whenever it comes to the AI research, as we refer the books, research papers, articles, websites, we have to place, nowadays there is a rule and there is a kind of regulation. When we use ethical AI, responsible AI, and we are a responsible researcher, then we have to cite. We have to cite even these particular AI things also as the references. And the other thing is disclosures. So citation and disclosure are the two things which one needs to take care when it comes to the references section. So we have to promptly say what kind of tool is used for what purpose. Okay, and what particular things has been taken out, or else what particular thing is being taken out from the LLMs and other kinds of tools. Then comes development and testing. Once again, these are the things that we have to take care whenever it comes to the development and testing part. Embed fairness and inclusivity checks during the development of AI models. Include diverse testing scenarios to evaluate AI systems for bias and unintended consequences. Ensure iterative improvements based on feedback from effective stakeholders. When it comes to the deployment and monitoring, all these aspects like establishing the guidelines, monitor deployed AI systems for unintended outcomes, create feedback loops for stakeholders to report ethical concerns, all these things needs to be taken care at the deployment and the monitoring part. Collaboration and cross-disciplinary, which is very much important for all the other disciplines who are intended to do the research using AI. So engage ethicists, social scientists, and domain experts throughout the research process. Even in computer science also, we may not be having the domain expertise of medical field or insurance field or some other fields. However, we hire, or else we have a close interaction with the doctors or the domain experts, then only we will be training the model and getting the required outcomes. Encourage collaborations between universities and industries and policymakers to address the ethical challenges comprehensively. So these are the things that one needs to take care whenever we are the framework, one needs to take care whenever we are doing the, whenever we are using the AI, like deep learning, machine learning, other kinds of aspects into our cross-disciplinary research. Then comes the resolution for ethical AI research. So in this, this is for the universities and the institutions to take care of the aspects. One is the university should develop institutional ethical guidelines. As we have already research guidelines in place. So now we have to take care, we have to design a simple two-paper booklet or two-paper like a simple flyer, or else a kind of simple booklet wherein which universities and researchers organizations should create their own ethical principles whenever it comes to the use of AI in the research. Then create independent oversight committees, like establish AI ethics review boards, as Dr. Mahesh was sharing, that we have to establish one ethical review committee, which will be oversee the research proposals, assess potential risks, and ensure compliance with ethical standards. Just to quote an example, I don't want to hurt anybody. When we were interviewing our students just last week, most of the students, when they appeared for the interview, they have to carry the sample research proposal, so that we can see the attitude and the aptitude of the research of the students. So they come out with a particular format wherein which everybody is carrying 4 to 5 pages, interestingly. So it suggests the title, it suggests the research design, data sets and everything, but mostly I guess that is being generated by AI. So they have given some prompt engineering. They had done some sort of prompt engineering to generate the research proposal. So the student, most of the cases, at least 4 to 5 cases we had watched, that they had come up with the research proposal, which is generated by AI. Easily we can see. So there is a kind of similarity between all those 5 proposals or 6 proposals. Most of the people, they are using the AI. And then create independent oversight committees. This is the second thing that the university has to take care. Then foster ethical AI education, like incorporate AI ethics into the curriculum. So RHE, that research ethical group, the 2 credits suggested by UGC, most probably there should be 1 or 2 sessions on ethical AI or else responsible AI, wherein which on the first one side we are teaching you to use some tools for the researchers. On the other side, we have to caution them that these are the things we have to keep in mind. So there should be 1 or 2 sessions on the fostering of ethical AI education. Then enforce transparency in the publication. So it requires researchers to disclose AI models, data sets, and funding resources in their publications. Then encourage the publication of ethical impact assessments along with the technical findings. Support and inclusive research, promote open access to AI research and tools, support the research projects that address challenges faced by marginal communities. So these are some of the topics which may be taken care by the social sciences or humanities people, and then they can do some sort of research projects on this particular thing. Establish global AI research collaboration. Not only once, it is not limited to one particular domain or one particular university institution. However, it may spread across boundaries. It may spread across continents also, wherein which a collaborative research can also be entertained. So share best practices and learnings from cross-border research initiatives, encourage public engagement, regular policy updates. So this is very much important. Review and revise the ethical AI policies periodically to reflect advancements in technology and emerging challenges. Today may be one tool, there may be several tools coming into our way, wherein which they may help. So we have to have a periodical kind of a watch, the watch about the guidelines that we had already prepared, and we have to clearly update or amend those particular guidelines in accordance to the time. So the policy guidelines, it is not limited to one particular policy. I suggest to have 3 policies. The policy guidelines for teaching and learning, that may be one policy wherein which it may be covering the syllabus integration, AI usage levels, to which level you can use the students may use the AI, or as to which level the faculty also needs to use the AI. So those particular needs to be taken care in the policy guidelines meant for teaching and learning. And then second one is policy guidelines for research students. So scholars, we have to have a kind of policy guidelines. And then the third one is policy guidelines for the administration also. Nowadays, in order to do the repetitive kind of work or the productive work by the administrators, they are also using in many offices, even in MNCs, they are using the AI tools. So there should be a policy guidelines even in the universities also, which should see the policy guidelines or else the guidelines which govern the administrative activities. So implementation measures, yeah, there should be one AI ethics committee in the institution or else the university. Then faculty training. Whenever there is a kind of capacity building happening to the teachers, in every university it happens, and through some online FDPs and other things also, we regularly train the faculty. In that particular faculty training, 1 or 2 sessions needs to be given to such kind of sessions where in which it addresses the ethical AI, and then student awareness programs. Like here, as we are doing it for the students, collaborated by TERI-IGNOU and then UNESCO, there should be a periodical or frequent student awareness programs which highlights about the use of AI, ethical use of AI in their research. Then monitoring mechanisms, use soft sanctions and dialogue-based approaches for addressing the violations of the AI policies. So before ending this particular session, I just want to share a simple cartoon by Time a Lot. So here it says maybe one particular day, this is just on the soft side. So one particular day, the robots may be showing our own brain kept in a museum. So AI should not override us. However, it has to enhance the productivity, and students may use it very meticulously. And with the help of the ethical principles, whatever we had seen, we have to use the AI in their research. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Subramaniam, for giving such a comprehensive explanation on the given topic. Thank you very much. Let's all give him a big round of applause. Yeah. We now have Professor T.V. Vijay Kumar. Let me just give him a brief introduction before you are invited. Yeah. He's a professor in the School of Computer Division, Computer and Systems Science in JNU. And he is also presently the Dean of School of Engineering at Jawaharlal Nehru University, New Delhi. And earlier, he was a Dean of the School of Computer and Systems Sciences, that is also in Jawaharlal Nehru. Jawaharlal Nehru. Would like to thank you. In order to save time, I'm going to really cut down the introduction. But before you come up, we'd like to give you, present to you a memento. Yeah, so I'd like to request Ruxar, our BHS scholars, to kindly hand over to him a memento. And we also would like to thank you for coming and joining us. Yeah, now the time is given to you. Thank you so much.
So, though I was not aware, I did not get any presentation. Somehow I wrote some points to discuss on. I'm very happy to know that UNESCO is also part of this because I was part of the UNESCO AI Forum to Mexico when I was one of the person who represented the country in Mexico on the UNESCO AI Forum, where we were discussing on how different countries can work on AI and establish. So that time I had a session on early warning systems and artificial intelligence because I work in the area of special center for special center for disaster research as well. AI is very important because their UNESCO head office happens to be in Paris. I was part of the delegation to France also, where we signed 10 MOUs. Among one that was AI in mathematics. I was part of the AI in mathematics delegation to France as well. Something which is because I believe that AI, we should not say AI is computer science because AI has actually reached the level of interdisciplinarity, multidisciplinarity, and transdisciplinarity. So it has its application everywhere. I'm a concurrent professor in disaster research, so I work on AI there as well. I work on disasters. I use AI for disaster management. I'm part of a School of Special Center for E-Learning. We have already planned some certificate programs planning for AI and data science. AI and data science. Because I'm part of the management, because my background happens to be applied mathematics, so I'm part of the management school as well as School of Computational Integrated Sciences, where I work on AI in computational biology. So these are the areas where we are working in, especially working in disaster. So I will be a different, because let me put it in a context and then gradually move to education, very important. We are in the era of Industry 4 revolution, moving towards 5. We know that always industrial revolutions have caused apprehensions that it might lead to loss of jobs. We had Industry 1 revolution, we talked about steam engines. Again, people had apprehension, but though it created more jobs. Again, we went on electricity, which was the industry's 2nd revolution. And again, people were of the apprehension that they're going to lose jobs. That did not happen. Same when it came to PCs and internet, again, people thought that if machines do everything, why is the requirement of humans? But actually, it eventually led to more jobs. Now we are in the AI era of industrial revolution, where there was something very interesting about AI was in 90s, when AI picked up, though it did not start in 90s, it was far before 90s, it started in one of the universities in US. But in 90s, when it picked up, people were the assumption that they are going to have humans, that are going to have machines that are going to behave like humans. By doing that, they made a big blunder by overestimating AI and underestimating the human brain. And they could not recognize it. And that's why today AI community knows very well, not even sooner, not even later, they're going to have machines that are going to behave like humans. Because human brain is a black box. You give some input, you get output, but you don't know how the output has been created out of input. And that black box makes it more complex, more mysterious, and which machines are not able to grasp. So I will move one by one and I will talk about what these things is. We have, and that is a reason why Stephen Hawking once said, the day AI succeeds is going to be end of humanity. It is on a lighter side. It is possible that today you find animals in zoo, tomorrow you might find humans in zoo. And that is what AI can do. But it has its own consequences, which I will come later. There is a famous test, Turing test in artificial intelligence. We know, very well know Turing is famous for his Turing machine, and there's no Nobel Prize in either mathematics, neither in computer science. However, in mathematics, we have the Field Medal, which is the highest award. In computer science, we have the ACM Ellen Turing Award, which happens to be the highest award. Turing has many contributions other than Turing machine. He was very much instrumental in winning Allied forces winning the World War II because he created that Enigma machine, which was able to decrypt locations of the submarines, which enabled the Allied forces to destroy the submarines of Germans. But there is a Turing test in artificial intelligence as well, which says that if you talk to a machine without knowing it is a machine, and if you get responses like humans, the Turing test passes. And that is what it says in the context of Turing test. Then what is AI meant for? AI is not trying to check intelligence. What it is meant for is to see whether the humans behave like, the machines behave like humans or not. And that is where, so we cannot say intelligence is checked by AI. It is just the ability whether the machines can behave like humans or not. And that is what we come across when we talk about AI. Then even AI is just, education has been one of the focus areas. Niti Aayog has come with 5 major focus areas, which starts with agriculture, healthcare, education, smart city infrastructure, smart mobility and transportation. In addition, it has manufacturing, energy, and especially disasters is also one of the focus areas. Though we can always say health disasters, we can say education disasters, we can say agricultural disasters, but disaster also has been one of the focus areas of Niti Aayog. Now, when you talk about personalized education, what do you say? One thing is in education system, what we are doing at today's point is we are doing 1:M education. When I say 1:M is, there is a teacher who teaches everybody with the same capacity, that everybody has the same learning capacity. But actually, what AI is thinking about is that it wants to identify the slow learners, the fast learners, and mediocre learners, and that is very, very important. Because everybody does not have that capacity. That's why it wants to make it, translate 1:M into 1:1. And 1:1 is not the same mapping because it totally depends upon the type of learner we are coming across. AI can be of great help there. And I'll come to ethics, some very interesting ethic issues which had happened in research. I will come to that later. But AI talks about, identifying, and that would actually eventually lead to personalized education. Because today we are not doing personalized education, which AI can be of great help too. Then, as I said, fast learners, equity of education is also equally important. AI has brought education to homes. Maybe with time it will become more affordable than public education we are coming across. And that is very, very important. There are the pros and cons of using AI in education. The pros is that it can amass huge amount of information and it can give you answers to your query in a very faster time. But the cons is, when I went to Mexico on the UNESCO forum, the media was asking every country individual. So I was also asked one question: what do you foresee about AI? That was in 2018. I said AI is going to improve the productivity. That is the ultimate goal of AI, to improve the productivity. What things took time, now it's going to be faster. But at the same time, it may reduce the ability of the human being. Because what is going to happen is that if machines does everything, then you don't know how to do those things. And then gradually it might be possible that the machines can misdirect you and you go to totally dependent on machines, you go in that direction. There's a very famous, something very, very bad incidents happened where the AI showed a path to a flyover and suddenly people died because it was half complete. Now, this is a problem with AI because once dependency comes, then you don't know how to find the way. AI will only tell you, and if AI does not tell you, then you don't have the way. But AI can also misdirect you. That is what is happening in ChatGPT also. ChatGPT is not 100% successful. But if something comes in a very beautiful English language, which takes much less time to complete, the people will always be happy that less minimum effort and maximum profit. But what actually eventually is doing is that people neither know how to write research and further how to think in research, because it is AI thinking. So eventually, actually what I said is going to reduce the ability of the human being. Now this has many implications, and in education especially. Now, there's another thing which is coming up. Suppose what you see today, you have mobiles, you have applications, and you download those applications via free. But do you think they are free? Actually, they are not. They're not free. The reason being is that while you are downloading those free applications, you actually tick that terms and conditions. And you don't know what all you have lost in terms and conditions. And suddenly someday you realize that phones are coming from multiple places. And who has given our phone number? Who has shared our information? It is you yourself who has shared your information. So then the question comes is, are you a customer of that? Actually, you are not. You are a product. When you download an app, you become a product because they use your information and sell it in the market. And that is there. Now, when ethics comes into picture, I will tell you a very interesting incidents, which has happened in a company in US in 2018. Again, eventually was the research. Somebody, a social media website, wanted to identify how people react to good messages and bad messages. That is, good post and the bad. So they had 7 lakh social media users. What they did, they divided them into 2 halves, 3.5 lakhs and 3.5 lakhs. What they did then was they posted positive posts for 3.5 lakhs and the negative posts for the remaining 3.5 lakhs. And then gradually they found that the people who are posted positively posted positive, and people who are posted negatively posted negative. Till this time, there is no problem because the users and the people were not aware of such a thing was happening. Then later what happened is suddenly the organization thought, why don't we come with a research paper for that? And then they came out with a research paper. Then the user got to know that such a thing has happened. They have played there with their mind. Then they went to court. They went to court, said that we were totally not aware, and this they have played, so they wanted to sue the company. The company thought it will escape. So it said to users that you have signed the terms and conditions. So how can you blame us? So they went back to the court. Again, the user went back to the court because they studied the problem very well and they found that the research word in the terms and condition was added after the research was done. And the company was sued. Now, this is a very interesting case which happened. And this can happen with everybody. Okay. There have been many ethical issues which come into picture, especially which takes care of the data privacy issues are also there. There have been cases where big companies, I should not name them, who have come with a television with the auto camera on. And this was later found that the camera was auto on, and that is there. There are various issues. Today, if you think you are speaking in front of your mobile and the mobile is not hearing, it is not correct. Mobile is not taking your picture, again, this is not correct. Mobile may be taking your picture periodically. Mobile is hearing you because next time when you make a search, you get to know things which are related to what you have taught. Now the question is, Stephen Hawking, even Elon Musk says that AI can be very destructive. Absolutely, AI can be destructive. But the question arises, AI is what? AI does not learn on its own. It learns from the environment, it learns from the user. Till now, we believe that AI is learning from our data, what we are feeding into it, and it learns. But gradually what is happening, the example I've said, where you are speaking and it actually next searches are related to what you have said. Gradually what might happen is, more scary situation would be when AI starts to learn on its own from the environment. Now that is very scary. Very interesting to say, as you sow, so you reap. If negative things it learns from, it will become negative. If positive things it learns from, it will become positive. And that is the concept of singularity there, where they believe they are very apprehensive that this might not, should not happen. Because AI takes whatever humans does. So is it AI which is going to be the end of humanity, or it is the humans who will be the cause of end of humanity? Though AI would lead to end of humanity if it is used in a destructive way. But the cause may not be only AI, because AI cannot learn, does not have anything of its own. It learns from what humans have. So I wanted to talk about this case study, then customer product I have already talked. That's why in education today, UGC has come with the program courses like research and publication ethics. Now, over and above, most important thing, because of the advent of ChatGPT, it has become the technical writing course is very, very important. Today in research, what we find out is people don't know how to write. Another myth people have is if they know how to speak, then they can write well. Actually, that is not true. Speaking has something and writing is something else. Usually, a lot of times you will come across research papers where I, we, are, and all these words are used. But usually writing should be on the third person. But people don't think even speaking is a problem. But even if they believe that they are good at speaking, they know they are good at writing. So if you want to have something as a replacement is, ChatGPT and other things cannot be easily verified. Still, the deep learning models are there, which are trying to see whether these can be done. But actually, still, the accuracy is not there. The point is, it is the ease that is mattering to students, not the accuracy. It is the ease of getting information that is mattering. So maybe the teachers have to find a different way of addressing the students, give more time, because now the things have changed. But it's very scary for research also, let me say, that if everything ChatGPT does, if you use it in a positive manner, means you do something and see whether it can be improved or not using ChatGPT. That is fair. But if you use in a very opportunistic manner, that you believe that I will leave it to ChatGPT to do everything, then it can lead to a disaster. So that is another area. But at the end, I will tell you very clearly, the ultimate goal of AI is to find wisdom from data. And you have to understand wisdom from data. You know data is a raw fact. And therefore, if I want to analyze data, I can't do that. What I need to do, I have to make the raw, because it is neither organized nor meaningful. So what I need to do is to make it organized and meaningful, and that is what is information. Information happens to be organized and meaningful data. Now it is organized and meaningful, so I can comprehend and understand. So I can do some sort of an analysis. Then I infer something useful out of it. It is called knowledge. Knowledge is not something which you know a prior. That is not knowledge, because you already know. Knowledge is something which you don't know a prior, which is very non-obvious, novel, valuable, interesting to the system. There's a very famous example, it's a famous example of beer and diaper. A store wanted to understand what items are being bought together more often. They must have found bread and butter, nothing unusual. It's not knowledge, because I know somebody who buys bread is likely to buy butter. Pant, shirt, pencil, eraser, nothing unusual. We know they are related to each other. Among that, they found that beer and diaper are bought together more often, which is knowledge, because it is it's novel, it's non-obvious, it is hidden, it is interesting, it is valuable, and it is understandable as well. So then they realized that beer and diaper are bought together more often. Now I can believe that it is knowledge. So knowledge is something which you don't know a prior. But being knowledgeable has no meaning unless you put knowledge into action. I always take one example. If none of you know how to sing, if you sing a song without the voice coming outside, you believe you are a good singer. This is called the perception of knowledge. Only when the knowledge is acted upon, that the voice comes outside, you realize how good a singer you are. And that is what is called wisdom. That is called actionable knowledge. Being intelligent is not enough unless you know how to use your intelligence. And that is very, very important. By merely knowing that beer and diaper are related together, it's not going to make any difference. Unless you put this knowledge into action And how you can put the knowledge into action? Give some discount on beer while buying diaper, give a discount on diaper while buying beer. One diaper, 10 diapers, one beer free, one beer, 10 diapers free. Have them on the adjacent shelf because you know somebody is likely to buy beer, I like to buy diaper. Have them on extreme shelf because somebody who comes for beer, he will search for diaper, in between he buy 5 more things. And that is what the utilization, that is what the knowledge should be into action. And that is why I say wisdom is over knowledge. I remember when I went to UNESCO AI Forum in Mexico, they are Spanish speaking country. I spoke my talk in English. I ended with Spanish. And they were all amazed and they were all laughing, enjoying. I said, algunos son salvio, algunos son otro sabio. Some are wise and some are otherwise. And that is very, very important. So the AI should make people wise than otherwise. And that's why the dependency should decrease, because we are going to an era where we are going more dependent on AI. And tomorrow when situation arises and the AI is not there, then you don't know what to do. I think that is very important. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor Vijay, for giving such a thoughtful, provocation, such a good presentation. I think you have really captured the attention of all the participants, and hopefully we'll be having some more questions later. Yeah. So, little mixed up, but I hope you will excuse us. We will go to the next presentation, who is online. He's supposed to give the keynote address. Benoj, okay. It's okay. Who's supposed to come now? He's there. Okay. Okay, Mrs. Dr. Sunil MV, right? Okay, so we'll go to the next speaker who is online. Let me give a brief introduction about Dr. Sunil MV. He is presently Assistant Professor of Systems and General Management and Chairperson Alumni. I'm sorry, maybe I did not have the proper. Anyway, Dr. Sunil is presently Assistant Professor of Systems and General Management. He has over 20 years of experience, and presently he is with Sri Dharam Shastra. Did I pronounce it well? Anyway, he is presently with SDMIMD and also associated with IIMB. Yeah, so we will welcome him. Sorry for not able to give you a clearer introduction. Yeah, so we welcome Dr. Sunil. Let's all give him a big round of applause. Is he online? Acha, Dr. Sunil, in case if you are online and if you are using a different ID, you may please raise your hand, or you may also leave text the message on the chat box. That will help us to identify you. Dr. Sunil, in case if you are online, is there?
Right, we are aware.
Yeah, Dr. Sunil Kumar. So different, no? Can you just type Dr. Sunil Kumar? Is it Kumar? Oh, he's asking to.
नहीं है सर पुरानी लिंक गई होगी नई लिंक सर ओपन है विषय I'll share you the link again.
So in the meantime, have you shared a link? Okay. In the meantime, maybe 5 minutes, if anybody would like to raise some questions, some clarification, you're most welcome to come to the stage and do that. Yeah. You want to do? Oh, no. Anybody would like, you want to come? Come, please come. Just to capitalize the the time. Yeah. Make it very brief.
I just wanted to share an opinion about AI. So it is rightly said that the person who graduates one day and stops learning the other day, he actually becomes uneducated. Okay, sir. So human.
Just here, you come the same and speak. Yeah, come on.
No, it's okay. It's okay. I actually need to speak. Yeah. So human beings are considered to be the most intelligent and important organisms on planet, but yet we are still highly reliable on AI these days for majority of our tasks. From turning on and off of electric appliances to writing the job applications and emails, we are highly and blindly reliable on AI. The question is, why always? Are we not competent enough to do such works on our own? In fact, the Oxford word of the year 2024 was brain rot, which means supposed deterioration of a person's mental or intellectual state, especially viewed as a result of overconsumption of materials. And in today's respect, it depends upon the online content that a person is accessing. So in respect with AI, people like us, especially people from Gen Z generation, we spend a lot of time on AI. I feel AI is actually making them incapable of thinking beyond the box, which is also termed as brain fogging. They are afraid of doing mistakes, and in order to avoid mistakes and getting embarrassed in front of everyone, they rely on AI for getting perfect and quick answers quickly and easily. With the advancement of technology by leaps and bounds, it is very important to keep up pace with the latest AI tools. But I would just like to conclude my opinion by saying that AI does save our time and efforts, no doubt in that, and it gives us good ideas. But it is very important to maintain the balance between the human intelligence and the artificial intelligence in order to improve the productivity and optimization of our works. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you, Baru, for helping us to fill up and sharing your perspective. Now, I would like to request Dr. Sunil to kindly take your time. Since we have already introduced you to the audience, I hope we don't need to introduce you again. But what we can do, we will warmly welcome you with a big round of applause.
Thank you.
Yeah, please, you may take your time now. Thank you.
Thank you. So, friends, this is the present. Thank you. Thanks UNESCO, TERI, and IGNOU for the cordial invitation extended, and hello to the members. Friends, here I am presenting the view. So my views are divided into three aspects. Why AI is for academics, initiatives and experiments at SDMIMD in my own institutions, what I have experienced, I am going to place it before you. And thoughts for taking the process forward. What are the thoughts which we have learned from these initiatives at SDMMD and what we have planned for the future action? I'm going to present on that. So friends, as you know, I don't want to reiterate what already has been discussed by many of the members. Okay, it has been artificial intelligence is transforming the academic and research, which we are already experiencing. And it has brought in more benefits and challenges, and also it has raised several issues, including the ethical concern, accountability, transparency, plagiarism, and other aspects also. So apart from this, it has brought in several benefits to us. The previous speaker has already touched upon the resolution, the cognitive ability. The humans were more passionate and they conquered the earth. It has been nurtured over the years, okay, from 7000 BCE to this current world also. We have seen many revolutions and other things. Whereas, of course, with the media, machines also joined us in 2022 in the post-truth era, November. As also the earlier speaker mentioned, AI is not the one which has been just emerged as it is. It is way before in 1954, where we starts its intelligence, seeing how machines can have an ability to think. And of course, it is a history, and we are very much sure and we are very much proud. It is Hinton who recently in 2024, he received a Nobel Prize in Physics, who was the one who has given a lot of stuff along with the Turing for us to understand what AI can do for mankind. So I will not touch upon all these things. I will directly jump onto this my own topic. So when we start discussing about bringing artificial intelligence for the teaching learning process at SDMIMD, these are some of the questions which we as an academic gathering started discussing. What are the essential components of ethical AI framework? How should we have an ethical framework for our own institution to introduce artificial intelligence? That was the first thought process. How academic institutions operate these frameworks effectively? See, designing a framework or designing an AI policy is easy, but implementing it, putting into the process, operationalizing and make it more accountable and effective is the challenge which we have faced in our institute. How can institution build trust and integrity in AI application? For example, so many speakers have discussed today. They have of the different opinions. Some of them have said that AI is wow. Yeah, some of them say AI is challenging. Some of them have said that AI is a critical issue which has to be discussed. So there are so many opinions. How to build the trust and integrity in AI application among all the stakeholders of the institute? So that was another challenge. How to bridge the gap between the technology development and ethical oversight? Of course, we as a faculty, we are from the previous digital migrants, and we are teaching the digital natives how to adopt the technology. So that was another challenge which we faced. So the main source of information, how to bring the thought process into action, where these are the Indian AI policies which are already there and which has given a light to thought process for the academic discussions. These are some of the documents which we have referred, and also it has given us some light about how to develop an AI policy for SDMIMD. So then what is the first initiative at SDMIMD? First and foremost, as we discussed, there is a need for an AI policy. These earlier documents and several developments which has happened in the Western world has given us an idea how to go about in this particular process. What we did was, we had three types of policy which has been defined. A policy at the institutional level, where the academic enhancement committee and the ethical board was the body which has been constituted, and they decide how SDMIMD or an institution is going to look at artificial intelligence, defines the overall AI usage principles and ethics at the institutional level. Then we had two programs, and at the program level, what we did was, we constituted a committee of area head, industry expert, and faculty members of the respective area. we discussed about tailoring the AI usage guidelines to specific to the academic program. How we are going to draw the inferences or the guidelines from the institution level to the program level. And at the third point is the course level. This ensured and the faculty was made responsible to design an AI policy for integrating the AI policy at the institutional level. And lastly, what is its significance? First and foremost, it gave us an idea what should be our thought process. Okay, how should we think? Okay, established a robust foundation for the ethical AI practice across all levels. So the language, the format, the discussions, the thought process, evaluation components, and also implementing along with the academic and other things was clear at all the three levels. Still, we are working on. I'm not saying it is 100% foolproof. No. Still, the debate discussions are going on in fine-tuning this particular policy. What is the second initiative? After finalizing this particular initiative, the second initiative which we took was we had a tie-up with a particular company, which is their product is Academy AI, is a tool to integrate into teaching learning process at SDMIMD. And what we did, what that particular tool does is it audio records the entire session of what we deliver in a class, and also it converts into text, and the text is summarized as a class notes. Okay, and then based on the class notes, it generates the quiz to that particular thing, and the faculty have an option to edit these class notes, tune the quiz and other things which we have to do. It is not like everything is being done by the artificial intelligence, but it is a helping hand for us. Okay, so what we got. So for, as you know, our business schools usually use the case study approach for the teaching learning process. So this helped us in giving the classroom discussion notes for the students. It streamlined the learning process, provided the classroom notes to the students, enhanced the accessibility of the classroom discussions anywhere, anytime to the students, and it supports the evaluation portal. How it supported? See, generating a quiz questions and other things is a Herculean task, and we have to revisit every year to fine tune, because the earlier questions will definitely be discussed by the seniors. So this particular, when we brought in new cases, new examples and other things, the questions will be new. So this was a thing which has helped us a lot, and also in my session in business information system. The third initiative which I want to share it with you is my own experience, where I integrated AI for my universal human value course. AI universal human value course is a value course is a mandatory course by AICTE for all the recognized institutions, and I implemented this particular thing. Where I implemented, see, students have to study the value system of a company leader and the organization as a part of the course. So what is that? So we ask the students to develop the AI enhanced videos, presentations, and the assignment reports by using AI tools only. They should use only AI tools, and they should be able to fine tune that particular thing. So this was the assignment or a task which has been given to that particular group. And how we evaluate it. So first and foremost, they have to demonstrate which is the tool they have used, how they have used, and how they have acknowledged that particular tool when using this particular as a part of the assignment. And they have to demonstrate in the class. Okay, and they have to say that how they have innovatively blended to give a new experience in presenting their learning in the class. So quality and originality of the content, how they have given the prompts, how they have brought in their own content to ask AI to generate what is to be presented is been given more importance while evaluating this particular presentation. So this has improved the students' engagement, their learning, and also parallelly in the classroom, we teach them about how ethical should be when you enter into a corporate world. If you have used AI tool, you should have that confidence and also the courage to say that, look, I have used, acknowledge the source. And this has been introduced as a part of the classroom exercise also. So friends, what are the components we considered in designing this particular AI policy at institutional level, program level, and the course level? These are the components which we have considered. transparency, accountability, fairness, data governance, inclusivity, and adaptability. These are the 6 components which how we have considered. Due to lack of time, I am not getting into detail. Definitely, I am available on LinkedIn. Please, you can be in touch with me. So these are the components which we have discussed and which we have debated in the academic gathering, and we considered among the 15 shortlisted components, we have considered these 6 components for developing our own policy for our SDM-IMD. Then, what is my personal view? See, personally, what I feel is definitely it's a great helping tool. Nobody denies that AI is definitely a great helping hand. It's a very good intern if you have a knowledge how to give him a proper instructions what that particular AI tool has to do for you. A good research friend and a humble advisor, affordable information service provider, very important, never disappoint you or become angry with you. So that is the most core. Of course, there is a threat, losing control, security, overusage, challenge thought process. These are the things which has to be discussed. I am very sure, being a technology, in the area of technology, I am very sure technology is going to help us in overcoming these threats also in the near future. So to conclude my own thought process about this particular thing, first and foremost, have an ethical framework is a core for any educational institutions, whether it may be an academic environment or a research environment or a learning process. We should have an AI framework. We have to start attempting that. Let us draft and let us discuss about this, which is already several guidelines are there. Leveraging AI responsibly is a core concept which has to be made available, build awareness to all the stakeholders in an organization. Build trust and integrity in AI application. That is what, never ever say that AI is bad. No, it is up to us how ethically, how in a logical manner, how in a systematic way we use AI. Okay, and to be with and also more importantly, if you may avoid students using artificial intelligence in the classroom or in your campus, definitely they are going to use outside. So instead of that, let us be with the digital natives and also be with them and understand them and be with them for the teaching learning practice. With this note, I conclude my views for this particular session. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Sunil. That was very organized. You have presented in such a well-organized, even though the topic was quite large, you have presented it so well. And thank you very much for the comprehensive presentation. Let's all give him a big round of applause. Yeah. We'll request you to stay online because in a later stage, we may have some more discussions. Question and answer will also be there. Yeah, so thank you once again. Okay, so if there is anybody who would like to come forward and supplement or comment or ask question, you may please come forward. And in this session, 4 of them have presented. In case if you have if you have anything to be added to a particular speaker, you may mention it, or you may even open the question in general as well. Yeah. Come forward. Yeah, sure. I don't have to invite again. You may just come forward and do one by one, right?
Thank you, Professor Yunthan. First of all, I am thankful to the organizer that they provided such a wonderful forum to learn something. And as a computer science student, we are learning, teaching AI since we are in the graduation or beyond. And AI is not something new. In fact, AI is a such kind of capability which comes with the capability of enormous computation and the enormous amount of data which is available. So it is just the combination of the development in the area of data gathering, data presentation, data processing, and along with the long existing algorithm. In fact, if we go back to 1957 or around that, the AI technology was there, AI algorithms were there, but they were not that much effective because we were not having that amount of data. We were not having the capability to process those data in the required time. So now I think it is the era or the time period in which we can experience the working of AI, but what currently we are seeing, it is just a glimpse of the development in the area. Many more things are expected to come. And as Professor T.V. Vijay sir mentioned that for what purpose you are using AI, that is going to define that in which direction AI will go. So ultimately our question, many people talked about the prompt engineering, chat GPT and many more things related to that. These are something which is ready made and cake is there, but you don't know in that cake how much sugar you need, how much other ingredient you need. Ultimately it is there, but also you don't know from which source these things are coming, whether they are really the sugar content or some other content which is making it sweet. So these all aspects, as an individual, as a student, we have to think whenever we are doing our research or writing something. It is not that just by giving some prompt and something we are getting and that is the final thing and that we have to produce as a output to the person who is looking for the result. Actually, what kind of sentiment you are putting in it? Even yourself, if you are generating something, you are going through it. Are you convinced enough that whatever is produced, it is up to certain level, accurate, correct, acceptable, or it is just something which is taken from here or some other places here and there, and it is not in the proper flow or in the proper context for which I am looking for it. So all these aspects we have to take care of when we are using AI, and ultimately the data is the king, and in that data context, we all are just the product. We all know nothing is hidden from those big companies or big giants who are serving us. And in fact, they are not serving us. They are saying that they are serving us. You go to social media, all social media industry, it is multi-billion industry, and it is just surviving on the data which we are giving to them. Sometimes you don't know that how those feeds are coming to you, but it is coming because you are somehow shown some kind of interest to that particular kind of things, or you are tilted towards such kind of information, and those kind of information are being bombarded to you. So it is all due to the processing of those capabilities and keeping track of all the current development along with whatever existing previously. These all things in combination is providing what we are seeing today. And obviously it is a kind of warning signal to us that we should be careful enough whenever we are sharing something. We should be careful enough when we are going to accept something from the source which is not properly known, from the source which is not properly acknowledged. So chat GPT and other things may be a kind of guider to us to provide some guideline or some kind of blueprint, but it cannot be the ultimate result for which we are aspiring for as a student or the researcher. So thank you very much.
Uh, very thank you to all, and organizer especially to organize such a kind of insightful session or seminar on AI, ethical use of AI. My question is related with the human development, means if we are frequently using AI, what would be the impact of cognitive ability? That we somehow there was a time when the computer came into existence, the people might had a kind of notion that it can hamper the cognitive ability of human beings. But gradually we can see that this kind of things somehow enhance our little bit level of intelligence as well. The same kind of questions now raised at this contemporary time, that whether the AI would hamper our cognitive ability, or it will give more exposure in terms of information that we are bombarded with to enhance our cognitive ability in more in deeper. So I would like to take opinion on these questions with all the resource persons present here. I would be very grateful to them. Okay, thank you so much.
You may give a response, Dr. Sunil.
Yeah, thank you. So as I shared in my slide, that the cognitive ability is not that we have nurtured now. It is the 70,000 years old, as it is available in a book, Sapiens by Yuval Noah Harari. Okay, I'm not saying that that is the core evidence. It is, you may consider that as an immediate evidence which you can for the discussion per se. Okay, so it is, there are two way of looking it. See, when you ask a question for a chat GPT or any generative tool, it gives the different dimensions. It means that you can say, okay, I can think in this particular line also. You can just say that, okay, I can view this particular concept from this particular angle. It will give a multiple dimensions. Okay, so it means that it will not going to kill your cognitive ability. It will make you to think in different dimensions. Okay, different dimensions. It will introduce the new dimensions for your thought process. But overdoing it, for example, if you ask me my own experience, when I think about starting a particular article topic for discussion with my students or anything, first, I will make a honest effort from my own end, what the best I can think about that particular topic. Jot on all the notes, points, whatever I think. I put my own thought process as a prompt to ChatGPT or Perplexity or Gemini, whatever the tool based on. For example, if it is medical literature or medical topic concerned, I will use Gemini. If it is a social centric, I will use Perplexity. And I based on the availability, how they have, what are the sources they use, I will use the respective tool and create the prompting. It gives a different dimensions along with those thoughts which I have already narrated. So it means that it will enhance our thought process. Okay, so cognitive ability to think to that particular situation, to act to that particular situation, or to act to decide on how I have to behave to that particular context will definitely enhance. It is the over usage or total dependency on AI is the problem. Okay, first you should think whatever the ability you have. First you have to think, then use the thought process for the prompting. That is my exercise which I have followed.
I think it's yeah. Anybody wants to?
Sir, prompt engineering is emerging as one of the key area in the study. So your opinion on the prompt engineering, because as you highlighted few points that how actually you should go for the creating prompts. So can you highlight on that particular point?
Okay, see, for example, simple to the simple, like for example, we can think about the very basic prompting engineering CID task. Okay, which I start my prompt in my class. It C stands for context. You have to set the context. Okay, who you are, how that particular tool has to think, whether it has to think like a professor in the area of marketing, whether to think as a computer science engineer, how it has to think. We have to set the context. And then we have to give the enough information. How I'm thinking, what are my thought process? I will give it as an information to that particular prompt, as a prompt. And then I will give a sufficient data. What are the data sources in an open platform? Whatever I have, I will definitely share it as the data source for thought process to that particular generative AI tool or any other tool. And finally, I will give him a task. whether the replay has to be made it in a tabular manner or a bulleted point or a detailed text, or how it has to consider what should be the language and tone, how it has to present to my requirement, all those things I will give it as a task. So this is called as context, information and data and the task. CAD task is the basic prompting engineering. For academicians, there are around 25 tasks. I can easily share it with you, okay, which is very much essential for the teaching learning process, as well as for preparing for the classes, as well as for doing research. So this is elementary. So these are certain things which has to be educated to the students as well as the faculty community.
Thank you.
Okay. Sir, my name is B.S. Thakur from NIPA, National Institute of Educational Planning and Administration. Sir, I want to know, is artificial intelligence is a threat to the academic and research area, or is it a boom to the learning process, teaching learning process? I'm a university coordinator for checking the plagiarism. I check the plagiarism of the thesis of the scholars. I found that student has a plagiarism range up to 7 to 8%, which is limited as per the UGC regulations of research ethics. But when we check the artificial intelligence of some students, that shows 30 to 40%. And I asked the students, so they said that we use it to correct the English, to correct the language, to correct the parallel. So is it the right process to use artificial intelligence tools in the academic and research work? Or it should be avoided in the academic and teaching learning process or in the academic and research area? I want to know.
So is the question to me?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. So see, one thing is, if you ask me, is it right? No, it is wrong. Direct answer. That is the one. But how it has to be implemented? First and foremost, like, see, when we designed the AI policy, then only we had decided we are going to have Turnitin as a similarity check tool for all our admission process and the submission check at SDMIMD. That is the basic decision which we have taken. Why? Because Turnitin, it will not give not only give the report pertaining to the similarity, it will also give the report about how much AI content has been borrowed in this particular document. Okay, so we know what is the similarity and also how much content has been borrowed from the AI, how much content is from AI. So both the things we have. Okay, then what we did, we make all submissions from the students and including the faculty publications which has been sent to outside should be properly checked, and the report has to be submitted to the ethical board. So when we analyze, some of the students manipulate Turnitin, like enhancing the number of words, this, putting it in double quotes, masking the quote with white and all those things. All such nonsenses they will do. Okay, what we do, we recheck that particular document. Okay, all the submissions, our academic office will recheck that particular document. If we found that the report which the student has submitted and the percentage which he has declared vary with our own evaluation metrics, we will have an academic penalty to that particular student. So it means that when we give the guidance, when we give the certain tools, when we create the ecosystem for the proper use of AI, there are certain yardsticks and the benchmarks and the checkpoints which we have to create parallelly, and then accordingly which has to be implemented as a part of the process. Okay, so my direct answer is we have to encourage the young minds to use artificial intelligence. Okay, but parallelly, it is our own bestowed duty that we have to educate them how it has to be used in an ethical manner. So this is the answer for your question, sir. Hope I have answered your query.
In the similarity area, we know the limit. It is 0 to 10% for the plagiarism.
Can you be a little bit loud, please?
In the checking of the plagiarism, we know the similarity range 0 to 10% for the thesis checking. But in artificial intelligence area, we don't have any guidelines.
We have defined the guidelines, sir. We have defined for the similar. See, in Toto, we used to allow 20% similarity prior 2022. Okay, 20% was similarity was allowed as per the policy. Now what we have done is we have restricted to 10% similarity and 10% AI content. Okay, the same 20 has been maintained, but we have divided into 10 plus 10. 10% for the similarity content and 10% for the AI content we have restricted. That is how we are evaluating.
Thank you.
Sir, I just want to add here, like you have said, Turnitin is just find out to plagiarism. But now we have Higgs.ai, which is also the tool, like we just copy from the chat GPT and we are just put it into there. And it is also doing the means text in humanized way. So that way, Turnitin is not able to find that text even that it is from the human Higgs.ai. So this is also a question, like how we can find out that it is from GPT or some like humanized text.
Okay. See, for example, if you are using ChatGPT on the left side top corner, if you go to explore GPTs, you can find around minimum to minimum 8 to 9 humanizing AI content. Am I right? Okay. Is it effective or is it effectively doing that particular job?
Basically, sir, like if you are just taking means some pay tool, if you are opting that, then it is doing fine. Like you can just opt that.
But my own experiment with a couple of paid tools only, including ChatGPT 4.0 also. Okay, these content are detected by Turnitin. Turnitin has that ability. Okay, whereas I'm not very sure about Drillbit and other content. Turnitin has the ability to detect this humanized content also to some extent.
Jump. Can I? Sir, the problem is that when we make use of AI, as we have all been discussing, that we are using it and we will keep using it. And as she rightly mentioned, that when we feel that we may be caught, we find ways like we try to humanize it. The problem is that we are not realizing that to what extent we have to use it. Even if it has to be humanized, again, we are taking the help of machines. The loss in it is the loss of the human factor is the loss.
Exactly. Our own thought process is the loss. Our ability to think is loss. And using our own brain, our own processor is the loss.
Rightly said by Professor Vijay Kumar here. He said that it is not the precision, it is not the accuracy, it is the ease that matters. That is why we
exactly.
are using it.
That's why if you notice my slide, in the benefit, I mentioned it as an intern. Yeah. Okay, AI should be used as an intern. That's all. How you use intern? Are you going to take the report submitted by an intern in toto for your organization? No, we cross-check. We make necessary additions. We make necessary suggestions. Then only we finalize that particular report. So it is a good intern. That's all. It is a helping hand.
Actually, generally, we don't realize that we are addicted to it. Like we are using GPS. A driver in around Connaught Place, suddenly if he loses GPS, he is not able to reach Connaught Place in Delhi, the most well-known landmark in Delhi. So similarly, if this addiction is there, that is why we planned of this program, that we wanted to find out ways and means, because it has to come from up. Like exactly. You are doing it in your organization. I think with some time, like let us say 5 years, 10 years, people will be so clear about it, that this is how AI has to be used in a very ethical way. So the purpose of doing this seminar was to come out with certain very clear ways and means to help those who are still new, and at least they adhere to it. Yes, this is ethical and this is not ethical. Like if you are using it even for language, we should know that this is unethical, because I'll not be able to master language even at the level of a PhD. So I think with time, I am very happy to see how you have included all this in your institution by exposing them and asking them, forcibly asking them, yes, you have to use chat GPT, you have to use AI. I think this is how we can teach them, yes, this is AI and this is not good and this is not, this is good.
Thank you, sir. Kind of you. Thank you very much.
One more, maybe we have one RC Delhi 3. He has raised his hand. I would like to request him to please to the conversation.
Dr. Ashok, please.
Can you help me? Because this
You
is
have to unmute, sir.
No.
Dr. Ashok, you may please come out.
Dr. Ashok, you may unmute your mic and then you can, yes, speak.
Please unmute yourself. He is a regional director at one of our centers in Delhi.
Please unmute yourself.
Yeah,
Yeah,
please
now
go
you
ahead.
have done it. And yeah.
Thank you. Good evening, sir. Good evening, madam.
A little louder, please.
Yes, sir. Am I audible?
Please, you are.
Yes, now you are very much.
Yeah. Good evening, sir. Good evening, madam, and good evening, dear colleagues. Sir, one of the panelists today shared their experience that when they created some content with the help of any AI tool, they found some reference there, but when they tried to cross-check that reference, it was nowhere found. And sir, similar type of experience once I had also felt so that using these AI tools blindly or without application of mind can be highly dangerous and disastrous. Sir, in psychology and education, in these fields, we use lots so many psychometric tools. And before using them on the population, we have to check their reliability as well as their validity. So as far as these AI tools are concerned, and when we are all aware of that they cannot be so reliable and they give us false information as well as and false references also. So I think that just like psychometric tools which we use in psychology as well as in education, so the reliability and validity of these AI tools is also to be ascertained before using them. So this is my feeling, sir. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you for kindly giving me this opportunity.
Okay. Thank you very much to each and every one of you who are gathered here inside this very hall, and also those of you who are attending online. Would like to give a huge thanks to each and every one of you for taking all the time to come and participate in today's seminar. I think before we go to the vote of thanks, I would like to give a maybe brief summary of what we have done today. I know it was challenging for me, comparing at the same time, trying to make a note of what is being spoken. I tried my best to capture as much as I can, but definitely I can admit that I have also missed out many key points. So I may be forgiven for that. And you may rather help me after this is being summarized so that I can improvise over it and we can take it forward. Well, some of the key points that have been raised in today's conversation. Dr. Bhaskar, he clearly pointed out where artificial intelligence stands in terms of favorability and also in terms of unfavorability. That is, to clearly understand where AI can dominate and where we can also dominate. I think balancing these two can maybe help us to use AI effectively. And of course, he also mentioned about identifying this crucial point can help in controlling